Hello and welcome to 97.9 Unity Radio, the best sports talk show in all of Massachusetts, in all of Rhode Island, in all of Delaware, New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island. I say that already. This is Moneyline. I'm your host, and you're gifted and lucky to have the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. Yes, I am the best in the universe. And it's so hard just being great. It just comes natural to me. It just comes natural. So a lot going on in the world of sports. And we are going to start with a little college football. Wow. First 3 weeks. The week 0 is amazing. I'd like a week 0 of my life. I think we should start that. But college football is, man, I know it. People are more excited about it, and teams are turning around a lot faster. Change is in the air. It just doesn't feel the same to me. And I know that makes me seem like an old fart. But man, when and I'm a UConn guy, and we had 50 transfers. So I can't, be hypocritical. But when I watch North Carolina and they have 70 transfers, that blows my mind. I was talking to my good friend Sean Mulcahy about it, and we were saying that when we were playing, like, we couldn't fathom transferring. I was close one time. It was my junior year, and I had gotten benched, and I was upset. My best friend was the quarterback, Ryan Tracy, and he had quit the team. He left the team in the preseason. So we knew we were going to struggle without him, and it was a rough year. So I was already upset with losing him, and I didn't play very well. I got moved inside. I was an offensive tackle. I got moved to guard, and I was a terrible guard. I got destroyed, and I got benched. And it was the only time I had a thought. Well, not the only time, but of seriously transferring. But it seemed like such a monumental step and move to make. It was almost overwhelming, and I didn't end up going through with it. The other time was my other good friend, an offensive lineman cohort, Ed Njaychuk. Yes, Ed Njaychuk. I'm saying your name on air. Doesn't matter. He doesn't watch. Ed and I, when we went to UConn first, Coach Edsel, it was during the time where you could have freshman camp, and the freshmen would come early and have, I think we did 3 days of practice before the varsity, everyone else came. Freshman camp was probably the most difficult practices I've ever endured. And I remember after the first day, we had an offensive lineman who quit after the first practice. I remember we went to lunch with him, and we go to get ready for practice. There's a note in his locker, and he said, "I'm sorry, I can't do this, bye." And he left. So, and the second practice was brutal. And that night, I remember because we had to use pay phones and we had calling cards. and I was in line with Ed to call home, and I was talking to my father, and I was like, Dad, I don't think I can do this. Like, this is hard. And I was upset. I was hurting. And my dad and my father's the greatest man on the planet. He wasn't upset, didn't care. He just wanted me to be happy. He said, if, no problem. He said, you want to go to Albany, you can come home. We'll figure it out. We'll get you somewhere else. No big deal. And then I looked at Ed and I go, and Ed, who I had just met and knew for 24 hours. I went to Ed because, we were both came in together as linemen. And I go, Ed, are you gonna stay, or are we staying? I don't know why I did that. And Ed's like, full scholarship, man. I'm staying. And right then and there, I was like, all right, Dad, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna work it out. And I did. And that's just a funny story that I based my decision off of somebody that I had known for 24 hours, and he's one of my best friends now. But that was funny. But transferring was it seemed like such a big change, and now it's prevalent everywhere, and it's great that I don't have a problem with the players getting paid because of the revenue from the television contracts, the $2.8 billion SEC deal. All the conferences at the P4 have major deals, and the revenue they make off of the ticket sales. I mean, you got 100,000 people coming to a game, merch, all that. The players deserve to get paid, fine. But the transferring just seems out of control, and there's guys that have transferred 3 times, 4 times. I couldn't imagine that. I mean, even when I played professionally, I jumped around a lot. And, it's pick up, you got to go here, pick up, you got to go there, because I wasn't very good. So, I was there limited times. That was hard. So I can't imagine how these kids do it. But I see it as college football. It's very, very difficult to walk in and start and play and be great right away. It's an adjustment. You're playing against the best talent in the country at the Division I level. So most people can't walk in and start. Most people can't walk in and dominate. Especially at UConn, Coach Edsel, he did such a phenomenal job of developing talent, because we didn't get we barely got 2-star recruits. We weren't getting 3-star, 4-star recruits. Coach would take kids with no stars, redshirt them. He made a point to redshirt every class almost and develop them. And that's what Coach did so well. We had success because Coach Edsel developed talent. And it takes time. And the players have to buy in, and they have to work hard. And that's the only question I have is, are players transferring because they're not playing right away, or they think they should be playing right away? Or are they transferring because it's, they don't want to wait. They don't want to work hard, and they don't want to develop. That is my question. From the looks of it, it's mostly guys that are, it seems like guys are going to where they can get better deals, better money. So that's different. But it's still, to me, college football was, I know it wasn't always pure. I know there were the $100 handshakes or whatever, but College football was special. College football was guys like really playing for the love of the game, in my opinion. That's how I always felt. And now it just doesn't seem that way. They play for themselves because and there's nothing wrong with that. You want to have a great career. You want to set yourself up to play professionally. You want to make money. I understand that. But the family, the camaraderie, I don't know how you build that when there's basically a new team from year to year. That's got to be hard. That's got to be hard on the kids. That's got to be hard. I can't even imagine on the coaches. I mean, I coached for 10 years. I couldn't imagine, 5 new tight ends or 10 new offensive linemen that you have to teach. I had trouble teaching the guys that knew the shit. So that's what blows me away. So I watched Ohio State and Texas, and all the hype around Arch Manning. Ohio State was completely disrespected. And I'm not an Ohio State fan. I don't particularly like Ohio State. I don't like Ryan Day. But they came to play. They beat the crap out of them. Texas and Arch Manning, he just looks so uncomfortable. But I blame Coach Sarkisian for that. You have, I know he's not a rookie, but he's a rookie starter, with all this hype behind him. You got to help him. You got to help him. And that was my biggest frustration of watching college football is certain coaches, you have to put your players in a position to succeed. You can't ask them to do things that they are not capable of doing. It's like running the run and shoot or running the wishbone. All right, boys, we're running the run and shoot. Well, if you don't have the personnel to do that, you don't have 4 wide receivers who are capable, if you don't have a quarterback who can make the reads or the throws, why would you do that? You're putting them in a position to fail. And that's kind of what I felt with Arch. They didn't. It was a very vanilla offense, as I say, vanilla, sugar-free, because that's how UConn's offense was against Syracuse. But they didn't put him in a position to succeed. They asked him to drop back and throw quite a bit. They didn't protect, and my other cohort, Frank Cristiano, his deal has always been his deal has always been keep 6 in, keep 7 in. You can still run your 3-man route combinations, and now your quarterback's going to have time to throw, and someone will get open. That's how and I believe that too. And partially because I'm an O-line guy, and I always think protection first. So protect your quarterback. Keep the back in, at least. Keep 6. Run your 4-man route combinations. They didn't do enough with the run game. I thought they could have established the run a little bit more. I thought that they could have done more play action for Arch. I thought they could have done some quick game, 3-step, give him some early, easy completions, and that will build his confidence. When he's having to drop back 3rd and long all the time, run, pass, or incomplete, it just kills him, and he was running for his life. So I don't blame him. I think he's supremely talented. I think, again, the coaches did not put him in a position to succeed. They didn't game plan properly. They put too much on him. You can't have him. I don't think any quarterback. I hate letting quarterbacks drop back 30, 40 times, straight drop back, 5-step. I think that's difficult on everyone. Your offensive line, your quarterback, even your receivers. You have to have balance. You have to have some deception. And, one of my coaches made it very simple. When you got to break tendencies. When you typically would run the ball, throw the ball. When you typically would throw the ball, run the ball. And also count the numbers. 6 guys in the box, run the ball. 7 guys in the box or more, throw the ball. And that's how, he broke it down to us that easy. He said, just count the numbers. Count the numbers and look at the tendencies. Look at what's their blitz down. Because you get all the game data, you can sort it. You know what down their blitz is. It's second down, usually second and long. That's their blitz down. Second and short, that's their blitz down. 1st and 10, that's their blitz down. 1st and 10 from the 50 in, that's their blitz. That's when they blitz. So this stuff, and you can game plan around it. And I felt that Texas did a poor job of game planning. I thought Matt Patricia, who is, shout out to VVS, a local guy here in upstate New York, Matt Patricia did an outstanding job. He played multiple coverages to confuse Arch. He played multiple fronts to confuse the line. He had some very, very good pressures, blitzes, some exotic looks that got home. So Matt Patricia did an outstanding job game planning, and kudos to him. Texas is going to be fine. Steve Sarkisian is a phenomenal play caller. I think he'll figure it out, and they're going to be okay. They're going to be okay. It was a non-SEC game. We'll see what happens when the chips are down and they're playing in the SEC. The other game, obviously, Florida State, Alabama, I watched. Oh, my good God. I watched Tommy Castellanos at Boston College. I did not think he was anything special. And boy, did he shove it down my throat. Tommy Castellanos ran his mouth and backed it up. And I love it. You talk the talk, walk the walk. He did it. And he did it. He came out against Alabama. And what was most impressive to me was, especially he's not a new guy. He's a veteran. I know that. But his leadership. He took the guys and he said, I got this. I'll carry you. And that's what I loved. I loved seeing that he was like, I got this. And his teammates rallied around him. Seeing him have success brought that team, elevated that team to new heights. Travis Kelce, new heights. They played with fire, passion, and energy. And his numbers, he's 9 of 14 for 152 yards passing. 14 passes. And he rushed for 16 carries, 78 yards. So he didn't set the world on fire, but this is against Alabama. They're pretty good numbers. Gus Malzahn, not a fan of. Great job. Great game plan. Awesome. Again, he put Tommy Castellanos in the Florida State offense in positions to succeed. 9 of 14. So he's not asking Tommy to throw the ball 30 times a game because he knows that that's not his strength. Tommy Castellanos is probably, if you can keep it to 20 to 25 passes a game, that's probably where you would want it. That's his max. And they were balanced to an extent. I mean, they just ran the ball all over him. 230 yards rushing, 152 yards passing. But anytime you can run the ball like that, and what I also loved is they had a variety of backs. I mean, they got backs, but I mean, most schools do. Alabama, Ty Simpson, he's a Syracuse guy. He just looked uncomfortable. The Mike Norville, God bless him, he was on the bubble. He had a horrible season last year, but he was smart enough to know he didn't have all the answers. So he goes out and he brings in Tony White as his defensive coordinator. Brilliant mind. I believe he was at Syracuse too. And Gus Malzahn is his OC. That was brilliant because and Norville had typically called the plays. So he brought in experienced, successful coordinators, and that's the result. Alabama for Coach DeBeer. I don't know what's happening there. Offensively, they are known for being a tough, physical running team, and they have athletic quarterbacks. Ty is not super athletic, which I think hurts them, and they weren't really knocking anyone around up front. Do I think that people want to fire the guy already? No, I think they're not. I don't see them winning the SEC, but they'll win 8 games. And then unfortunately in Alabama, it's not enough, but they'll win 8 games and maybe they'll figure it out. LSU Clemson, not a Brian Kelly fan, but good for him. He goes into Death Valley. Clemson, again, all this hype. Nussmeier, the quarterback. And, LSU is an underdog. They feel disrespected. They go on the road and they get a huge win. Kudos to him. I watched the game, the first half. I thought Clemson, they were up 10-3. I thought that they looked good. It was a sloppy first half. And then I didn't see the second half, but that's when LSU came back, scored 2 touchdowns, and won. So it was a good week, man. I just, again, the transfers, it's such a different team. So then it was this week. Or no, it wasn't this week. It was Belichick played Monday night. That Monday night against TCU. Belichick looked like he was constipated the entire game. I love, as coaches, you're supposed to have a poker face, because I always felt you don't want the kids to see anything. Whatever happened was supposed to happen. You don't want to get too excited. You don't want to get upset, because if they see you upset, they'll get worried, and you don't want them to get worried. That's how I always was. Belichick it's amazing. He managed to keep the same look on his face for 3 hours. I think they'll be okay. Again, 70 new guys. He had 2 transfer cycles. They brought in kids in January for the transfer portal, and then a lot of them left, or they went out and they got more after the spring practice. They didn't like some. So he brought in more. So that's so much turnover. He probably had 100 players that turned over. So I don't know that they are going to be anything special. I think if he's able to win 8 games, they'll be very happy in North Carolina. But the expectations, I thought, were just too high. I understand he's the greatest coach of all time. I understand that. But Vince Lombardi went to the Redskins. I don't know how well he did that. It doesn't always work out that way. So he goes to North Carolina. Everyone's expecting them to dominate. Sorry, not happening. But and then UConn, I'm going to talk UConn because I went to the Syracuse game, and it was frustrating. I was very happy with our players. We have incredible players. We have outstanding talent. But again, I felt we did not put them in the best position to succeed. We have a running back named Mel Brown. Mel Brown is explosive and dynamic and a home run hitter. I mean, he can break the home run on any given carry. Cam Edwards, love him. Cam Edwards runs tough, physical, downhill, and he's fast. I love Cam Edwards. I love them both. Mel only got 5 carries, and one of them was a 45-yard touchdown run. I believe that Mel needed, whenever you game plan, the first thing that we would do is, okay, how are we getting the ball to so-and-so? We would have 2 or 3 playmakers. I think we had 2 when I was at Holy Cross. And that was the first discussion of your offensive meeting when you game plan. Okay, how are we getting Mel the ball this week? How many touches? What are his plays? And we would put in the package and the different plays that we wanted for him. And that's what I would like UConn to do. Mel needs 10 to 15 touches a game minimum. I've heard other people say he's smaller and they should keep it at 10. I think they're underestimating his toughness, but I think he can handle more. My suggestion, I want Cam and Mel on the field at the same time. A lot of teams do not do that. That is 2 tailbacks. So the way I would do it, I would have 2 tailbacks, a tight end, and 2 receivers. Shotgun, split backs, tight end to the left, your twin receivers to the right. That's a great formation. You can run your zone, and then I always love the zone read option. So you run the zone to the tight end side, and you orbit the other back in motion, and now it's still zone read, but the quarterback can pitch it. Now, our quarterback, Joe Figliano, he played very well. He's not a runner. So all that does, for me, it's going to hold the backside pursuit. Our run game stalled at certain points because the backside pursuit was so fast. They were flying because Syracuse in the first quarter, Mel had the 45-yard touchdown run on an outside run play. So they, I think, said the quarterback's not running. He's not reading. Just go. So the backside linebacker, the backside end, they were flying. So anytime we ran outside, when we tried to stick a foot and get north, the backside pursuit would get us. So that's why I think, again, you got to put your guys in a position to succeed. If your best play is outside, you're running outside zone, you need a counter off of that. What I like to run is counter. The back comes across, just like outside zone. Now you have the guard pull to the opposite side, and you pull your tight end. It's a counter H, or counter H, they call it. So the back comes across like he's running outside zone, then he comes back around and runs counter. That's what I would run as an answer, is something off of it. I like the play action off of it, not the naked. I like the play action fake. Keep you max protect it, and you run your 3-man route combinations. I thought we could have done some more of that. There weren't any screens. There weren't any draws. That keeps the the defense on their heels. I just thought we were vanilla, unpredictable offensively. That would have been a huge win for us to have gone to Syracuse, an ACC school, to beat a Power 4 conference school on the road. Would have been huge for us. And we let it get away. With 5 minutes and 41 seconds left, we were up 17-6. Syracuse scored fast. We go 3 and out. Punt it back. Syracuse drives 80 yards, scores again. And my frustration was, again, just the play calling. I would have rather, when we got the ball with 5:41, I would have rather taken a knee 3 times, to be honest, because we threw the ball and stopped the clock. That's when you have an opportunity. You get a couple first downs. Now they got to use their timeouts. Now they don't have enough time to score twice and come back. So that's what bothered me the most, was clock management and the play calling. And I've been in that position before, so I understand when you're an offensive coordinator and it's pressure time, it's nerve-wracking. And sometimes you call things that you're comfortable with. You go with what you know, you go with what you think is safe. And I think that's what we did, and we just shot ourselves in the foot. You can't throw the ball. You can't throw the ball. We have great running backs. We have great tight ends. I love Hansen, the tight end, Lewis Hansen. I love Alex Hunnick. Juice Vereen played a little bit. He's athletic as hell. I mean, he's going to be a matchup problem. I don't think he's an on-the-ball tight end. I would split him out. I would use him off the ball. And I'd love to see Michael Burton play. Michael Burton is an excellent blocker. Michael Burton is someone you can run the counter H with. Michael Burton is someone you can run the zone divide with. But we're going to be fine. Skylar Bell is unbelievable. Skylar Bell, God bless Mike Burton Sr., who helps with the players that they bring in. He brought in, and I bashed the transfers. I said, why are we taking transfers? Guys who have only 1 year of eligibility. I bashed it up and down. I was wrong. Mike brought in great kids who want to be at UConn, and kids who are great pieces to the puzzle. They're talented and they fit in. And that's the biggest thing. He brought in pieces that fit. And he just did an outstanding job. And the coaching staff did a great job with recruiting, bringing in the right guys that fit. So, and the receivers especially, Shamar Porter, Romello Murphy, those guys are excellent. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. We have Delaware this week. We're going to beat Delaware. And then Delaware, Ball State, Buffalo, we're going to be fine. And then I think, the season is Duke, BC, Air Force now. And I think we can get 2 out of 3, if not 3 out of 3. Because once we get rolling, and we will, starting this week, the confidence is going to build. Once that confidence builds, once the players believe in themselves, once you have that momentum, it is very, very difficult to stop. And we're right on the cusp of that. There's a lot of good to take away from the Syracuse game. There's a lot of positives. There's a lot of things to be excited about, even though we lost. And I think we're going to be fine. So moving to the NFL for week 1, let's talk about you want the Patriots or the Giants? Let me see. So the Patriots versus the Raiders. That one was tough. Now, I am one of the few who is a Geno Smith fan. Geno Smith went through hell. He was with the Jets. He got his jaw broken in a fight. Or no, was it Geno Smith that got the jaw broken? Or the Sanchez? I think it was Geno Smith got his jaw broken in a fight. He bounced around the league. Nobody ever thought that he would be a starter. And he resurrected. Russell Wilson gets traded to Denver. And he resurrects his career in Seattle. He has several good years. And I'm just happy for him because I've said this all along. NFL teams give up on quarterbacks way too fast. And part of it is the win now mentality that everyone has. Part of it is since I think it was 2010, the salary structure changed for rookies in the draft because too many veterans were getting cut and rookies who haven't proven themselves were getting paid a fortune. So with the salary structure, and I don't like it because I believe it's 4 years. If you're in the first 2 rounds, it's 4 years with an option for a 5th. The average NFL career is like 3 years. I think it's too long. And by the time a lot of these guys hit free agency, you're 28 years old. In the NFL, that's getting up there. So I don't like it. I'd like to see the guys be free agents earlier. But anyway, that's why quarterbacks get moved on fast. The fact that I just laughed at Justin Fields. He was drafted by the Bears. He didn't even finish his rookie contract, and he's on the Jets now. Amazing to me. Amazing. I think he 2 years with the Bears or a year, but it's just mind blowing. Then there's who's the other one I was going to say? There was another one who I was blown away by that moved teams. I can't think of his name right now. But Geno Smith, good for him. 362 yards passing. I like that. And I love that the Raiders drafted the Boise State running back, Gene. I thought he was awesome. In college, I'm not sure what his numbers were, but Gene is a dude. He scored a touchdown. But I mean, New England led going into 7, 10. Yeah, it was 10. Oh, it was the third quarter. Okay. So they led at half, and then the second half they stunk. And I think New England's going to be okay. I love Mike Vrabel. Drake May, when you're asking him to throw the ball 46 times, again, put your players in a position to succeed. Don't make Drake May, a second-year quarterback, throw the ball 46 times. He had 287 yards passing, but 46 times, I mean, it's just too much. I just don't believe in it. I don't believe in it. He's a second-year quarterback. Yes, he's very good. Don't make him throw the ball 46 times. And I'd like to see. I would like to see more of a running game. But the Raiders, I mean, I love Gene T. I also love Max Crosby. Max Crosby is something special. I mean, the last few years, he has just dominated. He is just dominated. I mean, you can't block him. You can't get your hands on him. New England under Vrabel, I think, is going to be fine. I think they're going to be just fine. Gene T, he didn't have a lot of rushing yards, but I think he's going to be okay. And that's a credit to New England's defense. I mean, New England held as long as they could. If you're in the NFL, if you hold a team 20 points, 17 points, you got to win. I mean, that's enough to win. In the NFL, it's an offensive. The scales are tilted a little bit in the offense's favor. So you're going to score more than 20 points. So this is what I'm talking about. Geno Smith, he only threw the ball 34 times, 24-34, 362 yards. Gene T struggled, 19 carries for 38 yards, 2 yards a carry. Not good. But at least there was a semblance of balance. They threw the ball 34 times. They ran the ball 24. New England threw the ball 46 times, ran the ball 18 times. So again, you have a second-year quarterback. Put him in a position to succeed. You got to succeed. Give him balance. You got to have balance. You have to be able to run the ball. You can't ask Drake May to drop back 46 times and have success. He was 30 of 46, which isn't bad at all. But I would, again, 30 passes would be good for him a game. And then run the ball. Don't put him in that position. And, Geno Smith, again, I'm just happy he resurrected his career in Seattle. He got a great contract to go to Vegas. I thought Seattle should have kept him. And, good for him. And Seattle, brings in Darnold. Darnold did not have a great game, and they lost. So that was New England. The other game was I have to talk about the New York Football Giants. This one was very disheartening against the Commanders, or the Redskins. Russell Wilson, 17 to 37. He's got to be more efficient. But again, who is the leading rusher? Russell Wilson, 8 carries, 44 yards. Tyrone Tracy did nothing. Russell Wilson is very good. He's efficient. He needs balance. Help him. Run the ball. Run the ball, please. Malik Neighbors only had 71 yards, 5 catches. He did have a lot of targets. They weren't great targets. I thought they could have done a better job with the play calling to get him the ball, but they didn't. Tyrone Tracy, 10 carries, 24 yards. And that's because we got beat up front. Then poor Cam Scattleborough comes in. I'm pumped. I love Cam Scattleborough. I'm like, yes, let's go. Cam Scattleborough just gets deboed because our offensive line is a disaster right now. We need Thomas back big time. And we need Thomas back. Runyon is not there. It's just, I don't know that we're going to hold up front. And that's why we're going to struggle offensively. Russell Wilson, he was sacked twice, but he had some time. He didn't look comfortable again with the play calling. I thought, 37 passes, 23 runs. That's okay. Jaden Daniels wasn't great, but 19 of 30 pass attempts. Second-year quarterback, right where you need to be. Right where you need to be. You're not putting it all on his shoulders. 32 rushing attempts. There you go. They rushed for 220 yards, the Commanders. And Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, 82 yards rushing. Jaden Daniels, 68 yards rushing. Eckler, 26 yards rushing. He, was injured last year. Deebo Samuel had a rush for 19 yards. Deebo Samuel was the leading receiver. They're going to be tough. So I thought Washington had a great game plan. I thought they executed, and that's why they had success. Von Miller is there now. I think he is got something left in the tank. But with the Giants, I was very happy with Abdul Carter. I think he is going to be special. He is going to be special. They credited him with half a sack. Thibodeau had half a sack. Lawrence looked, as Sean Mulcahy said, just gassed. We got to get Lawrence. He's got to have more production. But I love Burns. I love O'Keefe. I mean, we have a decent defense. The defense fought their ass off. I mean, it was 14-6. 14-6 going into the fourth quarter. They just were put in bad situations because we didn't move the ball offensively. We didn't score in the red zone. So that was disappointing. That was disappointing. Let me see what else I wanted for the NFL. Oh, Brock Purdy. That's the other thing. Brock Purdy. He was injured, and he is going to be out because he had a left shoulder injury in the second quarter when they beat Seattle. He also has an injured toe. So he is going to be out, I believe, against the Saints. And he may be out. So guess what? You know, in Mac Jones, baby. Mac Jones. Now, again, another guy. Everyone disagrees with me. I think New England gave up on Mac Jones early. The first year, he goes to the playoffs. 2 years later, he's gone. I don't think it was all his fault. I think they didn't put anything around him. The reason Brock Purdy was successful early on, he had so much around him. And now you're the point guard. You're the facilitator. You're getting the ball to Samuel. You have the receivers. You have Kittle, the tight end. You had so many weapons. Mac Jones didn't have that. Most rookie quarterbacks don't because they're going to bad teams. Christian McCaffrey. I mean, come on. So Purdy is going to be out. That is disappointing to see. With the Giants, we were discussing this. I don't know when they are going to end up going to Dart. I hope that they can, snag a couple wins early on so that we don't have to play them. I think Russell Wilson can do the job. I'd rather them go to Winston. I want Dart to be on the sideline and learn and develop, which nobody does anymore. But I that's what I hope for. It was great to see Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers goes to New York and beats Justin Fields. That was a good win for Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin's on the hot seat. He's a great coach. I'd love him to keep his job. Jacksonville, I was happy. Trevor Lawrence, they win against Carolina, which they should have, but they won. And again, they had a rough season last year. I think they're going to turn it around. The guy that I'm most happy for, and everyone's going to laugh, Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones named the starter in Indianapolis. Everyone laughs. Everyone's like, oh, you have Richardson. Oh, how could you do this? Terrible decision. Daniel Jones is a class act. Daniel Jones is talented. Daniel Jones was in a bad situation in New York. Between the media, between Dayball, between Shane. And this is a giant FU to them because you let Saquon walk and you cut Jones. 2 first-round draft picks. Gone. Just cut them. Trade them. No, they were both cut. Or cut and not re-signed. And that's a lesson that the Giants management is not good at evaluating talent. They're not. Daniel Jones could play. Daniel Jones can play. He had injury problems. He missed a lot of time because of injuries, but he can play. And I hope in Indianapolis he's consistent and he finds his home there and he gets paid because he's been, he signed that monster contract and it was a mirage. And I hope that he has success because he's a good guy, and I think he's talented. Bo Nix in Denver win. Bo Nix only threw for 176 yards after Sean Payton oohed and ahed and oogled over him. Green Bay, wow. I thought Green Bay was dominant over Detroit, which was unexpected. Did not expect that. The Rams beating Houston, did not expect that. But it goes to show you Matthew Stafford being healthy changes everything. They're a different team when he's healthy. And, we saw that in the playoffs last year too. Buffalo against Baltimore. What a game. What a game. I thought Buffalo was dead and buried, and they came back. Josh Allen, 394 yards passing. Derrick Henry for Baltimore, 169 yards rushing. It was just a great game between two outstanding teams, and I was happy to see Buffalo come back and score 22 points in the fourth quarter. But Lamar Jackson, 14 of 19. There you go. You're not asking him to throw, 46 times like Drake May. James Cook, I expected a little more out of him, but he only had 13 carries. The thing with Buffalo that worries me, I'm not sold on the receiving core. Coleman can play. Khalil is okay. Joshua Palmer, I'm not feeling it with them. I wish they had Amari Cooper. I wish they had Stephon Diggs or DeAndre Hopkins, something like that. Give him a weapon. You're relying on Josh Allen to make plays and make great quarterbacks make everyone around them better. But you can't make chicken salad out of, give him at least one weapon. Keon Coleman may be that guy. He's been good. I just think if they had a great receiver, that would make the difference between them winning the Super Bowl. All right, so gotta get running here. So Kevin Freeman, UConn legend, he is having a basketball camp. The K Free Ball Get Buckets Academy, K Free Ball Academy Get Buckets Camp, Springfield, Massachusetts. It's going to be on September 20th to October 18th. It's a 4-week camp, third graders to sixth graders. Okay, boys and girls. There's 45 minutes. It starts. It's every Saturday from then on, 9 a.m. to 10:30. 45 minutes of elite skills training, 45 minutes of scrimmage time. You're going to get coached by the best. Kevin Freeman is a UConn legend, UConn royalty. He was on the 1999 championship team. He's at the university right now, running the National Sea Club. He is a fantastic guy. I love Kevin Freeman. He is always nice and treats me like I'm royalty and I'm dog shit. But Kevin Freeman, go to the camp. It's $189 to sign up. Okay, I'll put it in the show notes and on the radio. Listen, K Free Ball Academy at gmail.com. You have to email him to register because they get so many walk-ins. He wants you to email him, and then you'll get all the information and you can pay and register. You want to be coached by the best. You want to work with the best. There's going to be surprises. You never know who's going to show up. I don't know. Rip Hamilton might show up. Mecca Okafor might show up. Who knows? Who knows? But it's going to be a great time. You're going to get coached well. So sign up for that. This has been Steve Cully on Moneyline 97.9 Unity Radio. Remember, life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges, throw them right back at life.